Hi, everyone. My name is Marcus Rain. I work Dev Relations at Edge and Node. Welcome to another episode of the Graph Builders Office Hours. Today, we've got Hadi Khairalah here from JustAName, who's going to be going through how JustAName is building on the graph and really helping out the subdomain management of ENS. So that is a really cool product that they're working on. I'm looking forward to him sharing more about what he's building. But before that, what I'd like to be able to do is go through a few quick announcements. We have Graph Node 0.35.1 was released 2 weeks ago. I know I announced this last week, but I want to announce it again because these three features, declarative ETH calls, support for differentiating EOA from smart contract accounts, as well as this support for additional event filters. Those three are quite powerful. And if you would like to dive into some of that code and maybe look at some snippets, go ahead and check out the Graph Building newsletter for May of 2024 that is in the blog of the graph, and see some of these snippets that you can go ahead and try out. So basically, declarative ETH calls make ETH calls more performant. It's still not advised to use ETH calls if you don't need them, but if you want, you have to. This is a very good way to make it faster. Checking if an address is a contract or an EOA. Really cool feature within mappings. That is the has code method that was just dropped. And then really precise filtering. And it could actually be identified in the subgraph.yaml as well as in the smart contract code. You can start planning it all the way from there and seeing in the filtering all the way through. So some cool filters with that. And I will drop the link in the chat. I saw that. There we go. Issue man. Here's the Graph Builder newsletter for that one with the snippets, as well as I'll put in the Graph Node release notes in there. So check those out. And the next announcement here is there is a Zero to dApp Day that is happening at ETHCC Brussels. If anyone is going to be going to ETHCC Brussels in a few days, on Thursday, July 11th, there's going to be a full day of workshops, essentially preparing builders to win hackathon prizes that are being provided by the graph, as well as dive into the subgraph and subchains world with core developers. There's going to be core developers there helping, tutoring, really making sure you guys know it's not just workshops. We're actually going to be tutoring and creating curriculum that's going to lead from one presentation to the next to build, truly zero to dApp. So this is the schedule, and I'll put this in the chat as well. And I'll be presenting in that workshop there on that day. And also there's food, drinks, a little bit of socializing at the end too. And this is the day before the hackathon starts. So perfect timing. So I'm going to introduce Hadi. So Hadi, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself to everyone in the audience, and then from there, the presentation is yours. You can take it away.
Yeah, so hello everyone, my name is Hadi. I'm part of the JustAName team, the studio behind JustAName, and I'll be presenting to you JustAName today. Okay, so first I'll explain the definition of DNS. The DNS, then we'll talk about what JustAName is, followed by where we decided to make JustAName in the first place, and how we pivoted from building a Web3 wallet into a completely different idea. Then I go through its different components like the Explorer app, the SaaS platform, the SDK, and the tools. And finally, I'll show you a quick demo on how to set up your ENS client page in less than 5 minutes. To understand DNS, let's start with something familiar. DNS, or domain name system. DNS replaces IP addresses with domain names. For example, when you want to go to the JustAName website, you don't use its IP address. Instead, you type justaname.id into your browser and you access the web page. But you actually need to look up IP addresses every time you want to go to a website. And the usual days of the internet, I think everyone knows users have to do just that, which is very inconvenient. The substitution of IP addresses with domain names is what made navigating the internet a user-friendly process and most generally accessible to anyone. We know that blockchain technologies are great, but they're not the best when it comes to UX and usability. Having to deal with long, confusing addresses every time you want to send money to someone is a frustrating process. First, you have to copy the address, then you have to double-check the first few characters and the last few characters to make sure that you're using the right address, because blockchain transactions by nature are irrefutable, so this can add a lot of pressure and anxiety to the user. Even though after taking all these precautions, people are using millions due to type-borne addresses and address-forcing scams, so Similar to how DNS replaces IP addresses, ENS, or the Ethereum name service, replaces the name names with human-readable, replaces addresses with human-readable names. So, for example, instead of sending someone my Ethereum address, I can simply send them JustAName.here. This makes transactions and offline interactions much easier and safer while executing any financial operation on the blockchain. So, as I mentioned earlier, people are losing millions every day due to type-run addresses and other specific scams. To give you a sense of the scale of this problem, let's take a look at some real-life examples. These tweets from Sniffer on Twitter highlight just how much many people are losing because of these issues. Each one of these tweets represent a significant loss, so they range from $60,000 up to $68 million in one loss, just because someone copied and pasted the old address from the contaminated transfer history list. So just since the beginning of 2024, the amount of money lost due to these issues is staggering. And these are some of the huge cases. The actual number is much higher. So this clearly shows the need for a solution like ENS to simplify addresses and to make blockchain transactions safer and easier to deal with. Now that you know what ENS does, let's discuss some of its features. ENS does more than just replacing addresses. It allows users to attach various pieces of metadata to their name. For instance, you can add your social media accounts or any other information that you want. This stores your ENS name into a comprehensive profile. So as you can see in my profile, I have my GitHub account, my X account, my Telegram, and my email address all attached to my ENS name. ENS also offers multi-chain compatibility. So your ENS name isn't only limited to your Ethereum address. You can attach different addresses from different blockchains, such as a Bitcoin address or Litecoin address, all in the same ENS name. So this makes managing multiple blockchain identities much simpler. Lastly, ENS is built on the Ethereum blockchain, which ensures security and decentralization. So you get all the reliability and security of the Ethereum network backing your ENS name. So now that you have covered the ENS and its features, let's talk about JustAName. JustAName is your solution for simplifying the ENS subname management. We refer to the service as subname as a service, allowing users to plug the ENS into our system and start issuing subnames without any hassle. For example, at JustAName, we have our JustANID domain. We turned it into an ENS, and now we allow any user to claim their free subname, such as alice.justAName.id or bob.JustANID. This makes it incredibly easy for users to replace their addresses with a click of a button. Our platform helps decentralized applications overcome onboarding friction and reduce drop-offs by enabling users to get rid of their address by replacing it with a personalized subname related to the brand itself. JustAName handles large volumes of subname issuance and updates, making it perfect for any application that needs to manage multiple subnames efficiently. And the best part is you will need to be a blockchain expert to use it. We designed it to be accessible to anyone. By using JustAName subnames, you get all the features and benefits of regular ENS names, but with additional perks. There are no transaction fees for creating a subname or updating an existing one, making it a cost-effective solution. Businesses can issue subnames through our API or SDK. This means when they're dealing with blockchain complexity or transactions, everything is straightforward and efficient. Plus, our off-chain subnames are fully compatible with the ENS ecosystem, so in other words, you get the best of both worlds: cost-effectiveness and wide compatibility. Despite our off-chain subnames being stored in a database, we ensure they're safe and secure using JustAName Ethereum or CV. This technology uses cryptographic signatures to verify that every operation being made on JustAName is protected. So whether you're issuing a new subname or updating an existing one, you can be confident that you're the only one who can make these changes, rendering your subname reliable and tamper-proof. So now let's take a step back and discuss why we decided to build JustAName. When we started JustAName, our first product was Web3 Wallets. I think you guessed its name, it was called Just a Wallet. We wanted to eliminate all the annoying UX issues people have been dealing with when using a Web3 wallet for the first time. The goal was simple: make it feel like just a wallet, not a complicated Web3 tool. We chose to go with a mono-chain approach by building it on top of the NEA blockchain, focusing on only one L2 to boost performance and user experience. To make things even better, we simplified the setup process, making it much more secure and easier for users to manage their accounts by leveraging account abstraction. And of course, we integrated the DNS so that people could manage their names inside the wallet. One cool feature was our AI assistant. This AI helper guides you through the application and even handles transactions on your behalf. So as you discussed when you were developing JustAName, we were tackling every X friction one by one. But I'm building you to encounter the major obstacle with no solution, the enemy of Web3 adoption, the mighty blockchain address. Despite all our efforts, we couldn't solve the biggest issue, getting rid of blockchain addresses by default for all our users. This problem isn't unique to JustAName. It's the same problem for many other dApps out there, whether it's JustAName, MetaMask, or DEXs like Uniswap. Users still have to deal with these long, confusing addresses. We realized that to truly improve the user experience, we needed a solution that could abstract addresses once and for all without costing the user anything. We started looking into existing solutions like ENS and subnames. As we discussed earlier, ENS is a very powerful tool, but it comes with its own set of challenges. So, firstly, it's very expensive. Asking the user to register an ENS name and the onboarding steps that we wanted inside our wallet can cost up to $20 to $30 upfront, which is quite a large sum for the average user. On top of that, buying an ENS requires previous WP20 knowledge and name remote transactions in general, which can be still learning curve for newcomers. Then we explored at two subnames. They're definitely cheaper than ENS names, but they're not free. The cost is lower, but there's still a barrier of entry for newcomers. Also, every time you want to update your subname, you need to do a transaction. This means additional fees and complexity every time a change is being made. So both these solutions, while they're useful, didn't fully cover our goal of making blockchain interactions simple and user-friendly for everyone. We needed a solution that was not only cost-effective, but also easy to be used without requiring previous blockchain knowledge or frequent transactions. So we needed a solution that was suitable for signing using Graph keywords for the first time. While installing these different solutions, we discovered the Coinbase wallet. Coinbase had implemented a unique feature that got our attention for a couple of reasons. You completely got rid of addresses without costing the user a penny and without requiring an on-chain transaction. So in other service for newcomers, this was a game changer in terms of user experience. They completely got rid of addresses without costing the user anything. So the user can start their journey using readable subnames, no address, no frustration, and most importantly, at no cost. Seeing this approach, we realized that the tackled many of the problems we were dealing with. It made the onboarding process easy for anyone to use it, significantly reducing the friction and improving user adoption. So inspired by this, we decided to integrate a similar approach in our wallet. We wanted to make sure that users wouldn't have to deal with addresses and could easily adopt subnames just like in the Coinbase wallet. Building this initial invoice quickly showed us how complex and costly it can be. First, we need a deep understanding of Web3 technology, so it's not just about writing code, it's about understanding how the blockchain works and knowing how to secure your data off-chain. Next, working with the analysts requires specific expertise. Developers need to learn its architecture and functionality inside out. Additionally, while there are some basic examples on GitHub, they very limited real-life use cases need measure customization, especially for scalability. Finally, studying integration shouldn't deviate the developer from the product they're building. They should be able to focus on their business without having to worry about manual complex module in their system. So ensure developing the solution in-house properly is resource-intensive and time-consuming. At this time, we realized something very important. Similar to how we saw the potential in the solution, every lab needs to and will eventually integrate this feature, but they should be able to integrate it without having to build everything from scratch. So understanding this, we decided to pivot from building a wallet into creating a settlement as a service provider. And we will also an application to integrate subnames with minimal effort. Instead of spending countless hours and resources developing it in-house, developers can now integrate this feature seamlessly through our API. By offering Tunnel as a service, we make it easy for any application to improve the overall user experience before increasing the user retention. So it's a win-win for businesses and users. If your users are happy, they are more likely to stay and engage with your platform. The success of on-chain subnames is evident when we look at the industry leaders like Coinbase and Uniswap. Coinbase registered an impressive 4 million subnames in the first year alone. This demonstrates the massive adoption and success of implementing off-chain subnames. Similarly, Uniswap, another big player, implemented the solution at the beginning of 2024. They reported that over 500,000 subnames were issued in the span of 2 quarters. However, it's important to note that these are still some of the few players who have successfully integrated off-chain subnames. This highlights two main key points: the immense need for a solution like that in the industry and the substantial resources required to build it. First, early businesses or with limited resources, creating such a solution in-house might be accessible or will not give the effort despite being a much needed feature. JustAName aims to bridge the gap, making it possible for any application to offer the same seamless and user-friendly experience as Coinbase and Uniswap without the extensive development cost and effort. So now let's dive into the JustAName ecosystem. The JustAName app is your community hub for INS names and subnames. We treat the INS names as communities and subnames as members of these communities. For example, you can join our JustAName community by claiming a free subname. Also, the JustAName application allows anyone to accept an invitation to a subname. So basically, someone can invite you to claim a subname for their community. You can accept them from our application, and you can update your metadata easily and gaslessly. Plus, the application consolidates all your entire digital identity by showcasing your Firebase account, Lens profile, and your APs all in one place. So you can also navigate different profiles and engage with them. The application includes XMPP messaging, so you can easily chat with other community members. In short, the JustAName application really makes strategy, admin and subnames effortless, accessible, and engaging. The JustAName dashboard allows the INS users to seamlessly plug their INS into our system. You can connect your domain name to JustAName, invite addresses to claim a subname, and generate an API key to be used with our SDK for easy integration with your platform. We also provide a testnet environment for developers, making it easy to test their system and ensure the smooth integration. Concerning the SDK and the developer tools, we provide a comprehensive API, the JavaScript SDK for back-end and the React SDK for front-end. Our goal is for everyone to integrate JustAName easily into their platform without any hassle. So our documentation includes multiple examples from your favorite JavaScript and TypeScript frameworks like React.js, Express, Next.js, and even Explore for those interested in mobile applications. Everything is typed ensuring a safe integration. To work out and easy, we offer the Create JustAName App Starter Kit, which allows you to bootstrap a killing page in less than 5 minutes. In summary, integrating JustAName into your platform is straightforward and efficient, allowing you to focus on your application while we handle the complexity of off-chain subnames on your behalf. So the web is an integral part of our system, as we emerge for every operation where we need to fetch data, ENS data such as the owner, the keys, and the external weight of the ENS. So the web allows us to query blockchain data efficiently and reliably. Here's an example of how we use the API to fetch the on-chain keys. So thanks to the web, we have access to decentralized data in a fast and secure manner. This is crucial for JustAName, as we need to ensure that our operations are not only accurate, but they're also quick and dependable. So by leveraging the graph, we were able to focus on enhancing our core functionality and providing value to our users, rather than getting bogged down by the complexity of data retrieval and processing. It's the best solution outdoor we could use for fetching essential data points, ensuring that JustAName remains reliable before increasing our general uptime. So now then we get into a demo and showcase how we can use the SDK to create a subname claim page. Okay, so that's the JustAName dashboard. Basically, it's an easy email password login. So when you access the dashboard, you can create a workspace and you can invite other members to collaborate on the subname assurance and subname management. So as you can see here, I have several workspaces and I have the NS names plugged to my workspace already. So I have my JustAName.eth domain, JustAName.eth, and I have a testnet domain for testing and general integration. I'm going to create a new workspace. And I'm going to add an ENS name that basically we can use for testing. So it's just an example.eth. The only thing that I need to do is to do a transaction that will change the resolver of the INS into the JustAName resolver. Okay, so now it's configured. I can add it to my workspace. So I finish the setup. I need to assign a message, and I'll see my domain added to my workspace. So I can reserve subnames. I can reserve names for Ethereum, for specific Ethereum addresses, and I can see all my users. So I'm going to create a new ID. And I'm going to use the terminal to create a subname cloud page. So here the application will be just an example. I'm going to use Next.js with the app directly. And I'm going to put the API key here to use the local host 3000. Why not? So now it's downloading and configuring the application for my subname page. So meanwhile, we can see the application. So I'm going to go to just an example. Okay, so as you can see, it's an address application with the APIs already configured. So there's the request challenge, which generates the Siri message. We can change the CAD, for example, to make the message last longer, or we can reduce the time. There is the add route, which basically here we can add any logic that we want. So for example, in our JustAName community, only one subname is permitted to be added per address. So we check, for example, that the address doesn't have a previous subname before adding it. So we can add any logic that you want, or for example, a profanity list or anything in this API, and a revoke API. So now I'm going to, I think, the node modules are still here. So I'm going to load the application. Let's see. I'm going to create a new account, and I'm going to claim a subnet. Okay, so that's for the test. I'm going to clean it. I need to sign a message. And now I have the JustAName attached to this account. So now I can go to another account. Like, for example, accounts here. We have table. I'm going to test it to see if it works. Just an example. Let's see. It's going to reserve the account of the other address. So basically, as you can see here, it was a simple claim page. So you only need the text field for the user to be able to enter the user name and the claim button. So then we can also see this surname created here. So you need to send a message and define by that this account. I will see the surname in server. So yeah, the heading myself when you're two stations that I ran, for example, just have the other story for Twitter or my GitHub account. And I don't need any transaction to say that I just need to send a message and the message lasts for like 30 minutes. So after this update, I can keep on updating anything else without sending messages. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I can also, inside the application, navigate different communities. So where we have the JustAName community and JustAName community, I can go to this community and discover the numbers of the communities, or I can see the sources, your APs, if there are any. I can go to JustAName and message them through SMTP. So what we're trying to do is basically to keep the JustAName application more of an engaging platform than just the same data. That's why we include SMTP. So you can message the tool, and then you see the message that I can send on your voice notes, or you can send them in the pages. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
What a fantastic presentation. I've got a few questions myself, but I want to create some space for anyone in the audience that has some questions. Thank you so much for your time there, Hadi. Let me go ahead and go through and find some questions here.
Before that, there's also one slide I need to show this.
Oh yeah. Go ahead. Take over. Go for it.
Well, so that's the team behind JustAName, and that's an amazing team that basically we couldn't build JustAName without them. So yeah, and
Yeah, great team. We were commenting in the chat how good the UI looks and how just it feels. I mean, it looks very professional, feels very professional. It's a great looking product and feels like it's solving a problem that just getting ENS going has been a huge asset for crypto as a whole. And then now having more granular control and being able to have communities and being able to have subdomains and better management of that, I absolutely see that this is something that I'm curious about. Before I get to my questions, let me see what the chat has here. 1 second. From Lewis, how do you guys handle multiple addresses and multiple names? A little bit like how wallets are combining all other wallets into one, like Wealthsimple, PayPal, etc.
Yeah, so basically you can attach many subnames to the same account. Or you can, under the same subname, have different chains. So for example, under the same, if I have Hadi.JustAnID, I can attach my Ethereum address, my Bitcoin address, my Solana address, so all my addresses from different blockchains under the same account. But how we saw basically that individuals are using subnames is basically to name their accounts for different purposes. Like for example, if you have an NFT wallet, I can name it NFT.JustAnID or a savings account. So it makes managing the accounts and sending money to these accounts easier. So I'm not sure if this answers the question, but
that makes sense to me. Let me see, Lewis. Was that good for you? Get a thumbs up, possibly. While he's writing, I see him chanting in the chat right now. Let's go ahead and he's got a follow-up question. Will it know which address I'm referring to? This is from the same gentleman. Will it know which address I'm referring to when receiving X, Y, or Z? Yes, that was the question.
Well, so it depends on the web. Like for example, a wallet an Ethereum wallet will by default result the Ethereum address. So there is a function like what we're doing is basically we're enabling the same features as ENS. So in the SDK of ENS, you can specify the coin type. So for example, for Bitcoin, it's 0, for Ethereum, it's 60, and we'll have a lot of chains. So it really depends on the application, but in general, yeah, it's a function that you call and you can pass the parameter, which is the coin type. So let's say an application that's managing Ethereum wallets and Solana wallets, they might need to do some manipulation to be able to see which account they want to resolve to the user. That's a simple one-language.
Okay, thanks, Scott. That seems like that answered his question. Next question here. All right. And you are using the ENS subgraph. We saw that. Any plans to use Substream-powered subgraphs?
Honestly, I'm not sure what. Can you elaborate a little bit?
Yeah, of course. So Substream-powered subgraphs are another tech stack within the graph that allows for parallel indexing and more granular data to be indexed at a faster rate. And so anytime a subgraph, let's say, subgraphs work in so many different situations, sometimes there's a need to have parallelization of indexing, and that could be done with substreams, where with subgraphs. So what essentially that does, it takes a substream, you could push that data into a subgraph and make that data decentralized, as opposed to having a single centralized sync of data, whereas a substream can sync into many locations. Essentially, that's the stack that the question is. So I guess there's no current plans for that, but if that's ever desired, that's there for you.
We have an amazing experience with dealing with subgraphs already. So of course, any new technology that is being developed at the graph, we're gonna be using it, because, like as I said in the presentation, it's a crucial part of our application. We need to fetch on-chain keys of the ENS and the owners of the ENS names. Like for example, we also have the expiry. We have a cron job that will basically notify the user that the DNS is about to expire. This is all done using the graph. So any new technology that will make it even more like faster, of course, we're going to integrate it.
Great. Yeah, just look on the Explorer anytime you want to see for a subgraph that's powered by substreams, and that should typically be in the name or in the explanation. So you're going to get different potential ability to use that data. It's just a different stack, but the queries in the end will be the same. So use GraphQL, we'll still send the endpoint. So let's see. Any freemium or free ENS domains already with JustAName?
Yeah, so now for individuals, anyone can get up to 20 sublinks for free. And we also have a freemium tier for businesses. We also have an enterprise kind of plan. So we're tackling each account individually, but yeah, there is the freemium, and we can even go way up than 20 subnames per ENS for the freemium account for businesses.
That's awesome. See, any other questions? I got a question for myself personally. I started looking at the subdomains, domains, and how that's managed, and the communities that you're building. And immediately my mind went to identity and how that could potentially be in there. So of course there's an ability to create multiple subdomains and be able to kind of have a various ways of having identity being expressed and built. I was wondering if JustAName is strictly going to stick with subdomains, but you're so close to having it community and identity also at the same time. It seems like you're right at the edge of that. I was curious what your thoughts are with that.
Well, we have plans to eventually like basically prove that this is the person behind like if you want to prove the person behind the subname. So there will be some tweaks and stuff that we weren't able to do them with on-chain ENS names. So because they're off-chain, we can manipulate the data and allow various queries and various data types for the metadata of the subname. So we're still exploring that, but there's a lot of it to uncover here. So
Yeah, that's a tough problem. It's a really tough problem to do identity right, but you're kind of laying the groundwork for that maybe in a few years, once this gets out of beta. Yeah. And I wanted to ask about that. What stage of the beta is this in? Are you guys, is there any timeline that you guys are looking at for anything coming out in the next few months?
Yes, we're operating in the beta mode just to test that everything works fine, and you have some pilot customers that are starting to be onboarded on JustAName. We're gonna stay in beta for a while just to test that everything is good. We have some very nice features that we're gonna be rolling out in the next few months. I can't really go into detail.
Come on, a little bit of Elsa. I know. It'll be a surprise. If there's anything that we could, I know builders in this audience are always curious about tinkering around. If there's anything that is available, let us know in this community, and I'm sure there's 3 builders. Let's see. Any other questions? For off-chain storage, I know you guys are doing off-chain storage. You're doing that locally with your own databases. Curious about any plans for future integrations with Arweave, IPFS, Filecoin, that type of stuff.
We're also exploring some ways to basically prove that we're not tampering with the data of a centralized database. We have some many roadmaps. We're gonna be also rolling out some announcement in the near future, but yeah, we have some plans regarding that.
Well, I think the last question here is, how can anyone reach out to you, Hadi, if they have any questions, or the JustAName or I suppose the JustAName team? And that's pretty much it. That's the last question that I see.
Yeah, so you can reach out to me on my email, hadi@justalab.co, or support@justalab.co, or support@justaname.id.
Perfect. I see that in the chat right there. Okay, so with that being said, really awesome presentation. I'll let you have the last few words here. Everyone in the audience, thank you so much for coming to another episode of the Graph Builders Office Hours with Hadi. And Hadi, if there's anything that these devs could do for you in terms of testing, reaching out, or anything that these devs might be able to help your project out in terms of just getting interested, what can they do?
I mean, you can already go to the application and claim your free subname and replace your address without costing you anything. So I encourage anyone to claim their subname and replace the address. Don't use it anymore. It's it's confusing. And thanks to Graph Builders for hosting us.
Awesome. Well, Hadi, if you could just stay on the line for a little bit longer, we got to let the recording finish up here. For those of you in the audience, thank you so much for coming to the Graph Builders Office Hours. On July 4th, we'll be here once again next week on July 11th for another episode of the Graph Builders Office Hours. So take care, everyone. Have a good rest of your week.